But it might record whenever like everybody gives their okay. All right.
Okay, I'm recording. Whatever. If I'll just edit it out.
Yeah, editing software is such a fucking miracle, man.
It's a miracle. It's a miracle of the consciousness of the Hegelian.
Thanks for the follow,
point, really.
Haas Tame.
All right. So should I start by asking a question now?
Well, I think it's appropriate that we start by introducing ourselves.
Hello, you can call me Meister Cunny, and I am a Fitzhugian socialist with post-structuralist characteristics.
Characteristics.
That was a fucking mouthful. Okay, what's up with you, Normal?
It's a mouthful. It's very clear. It's very prescient if you think about it. I'm Normal. I'm same as what he said. A Fitzhugian socialist with post-structuralist characteristics. That's an accurate summation of our ideology.
Okay. I don't know what a lot of those words mean, so already you guys are have an advantage. But hi for the viewers who are going to view your guys' videos. My name is Meme Joy. I am a leftist. I don't really like to adhere to labels, but call me a market socialist if you want. I don't know.
Oh, a market socialist, like Joseph Broz Tito of Yugoslavia. I see.
More of a market socialist, and I think that if workers are to own the means of production, it's only fair that there's a marketplace to share their goods that they create.
I see. That's the introductions. I see.
So
yeah, I'm pretty new to leftism.
So since this debate was intended to be about police brutality, I suppose I should ask you, what is your issue with police brutality? What do you, from your perspective?
What do you define it as?
I think police brutality is police using unjustified force or just abusing their power, and I think it's pretty bad.
Why though?
Define power.
I mean, police like inherently have like kind of a power dynamic over your average citizen, as far as I view it. They have our society has constructed a sort of unfair position above people, and it seems a lot of them believe that they can just be above the law. And am I muted on my stream?
You're not muted, I don't think.
The fuck? People in my chat are telling me that they cannot hear me. Let me just fix that real quick.
I'm patient. I'm a patient man. I've spent years waiting for this.
Waiting for what? To debate a 16-year-old?
Yes, I'm in the basin of the Great Oak.
Hell yeah, man. It should be working, but I don't know what's wrong. Mind if I switch softwares real quick? Because I'm using Streamlabs and I don't typically use that.
Yeah, that's fine.
I don't care. We're not the software police. We're the hardware police. The hardware of our civilization.
Alright, I'm switching to just OBS Studio. Okay. And sorry, I should have gotten this. I was trying to get this all set up beforehand, but it wasn't for some reason. Okay, there we go. Start streaming. Yes. There you go. I should be live on my Twitch now. And I gotta pull up a chat real quick. God, I'm sorry that this is taking forever. I haven't streamed in a long fucking time.
I understand.
Yeah. So, my channel streaming. Let me just pull up a pop-out chat so that I can close Twitch real quick. Settings. Ugh. Where is it? Where is it? How about chat? There we go. Got it. There we go. And let me hit the record button too. All right, we should be up in business at the moment.
So we are back. So do we continue
We're back.
with the
We're still
debate?
back.
So do we continue with the debate, or do we introduce ourselves again?
It doesn't fucking matter.
Yeah, whatever. I'm normal. Hi.
I'm Meister
That's
Cunny.
my message to the people. Yeah, he's Meister Cunny.
Mm-hmm. All right.
So
yeah, where did we leave off? I just think that police abusing power is bad, pretty much.
Well, what is power?
How much power? Would you say that the entire current police system is based on a system of unjust power enforcing an unjust ethical law? Would you say that?
I mean, I'd have to think about it more, but based on how you've worded it, yeah, that sounds about right.
But you fail to consider within your own saying, if you're the purpose of police, as I see it, is to really enforce the good as was created by a state entity. But you're looking at it all wrong here. If it's been deterritorialized in this way, so it's no longer enforcing what it's intended to do. It is now a completely separate object, so a body without organs, as you might say. It is functioning within the society, just a pure element of violence, just a part of the chthonic death realm, if you really think about it. But really, in your own mind, you're re-territorializing it here. You're getting rid of all the potentiality of this great violent force going over all of civilization. You're saying, oh, it's enforcing an unjust law, instead of just saying it's not enforcing anything at all. It's a completely empty sort of thing here. It's a new paradigm. What's the difference between the average man and the police? What's the difference?
And the problem here is what both Hegel and Heidegger pointed out. Ultimately, these ideas are just linguistic concepts, and by fighting against them, you're only reinforcing them, since they both come from the same ground of being. There is really no difference between the anti-racist and the racist.
From the police, of course. Makes sense. What's your comment on that, Meme Joy?
I'm gonna need you to go over that again, but dumb it down for me real quick.
Dumb it down. I think I was being pretty succinct. Okay, so you have the police.
Mm-hmm.
It's full. It's a full object. It's completely filled in. It's territorialized, as one might say. There is territory within it. It's a structure that exists. But now its original purpose of defending the good, whatever that may be, has been removed, and it's an infinite amount of potentiality. There's really no difference between the police and the average man in our current state. But now you're getting rid of that freedom in your own mind. You're re-territorializing it. You're enforcing this badness into the empty structure, the organless body of the police. When really what you need to do is you got to create a constant war of police and citizen to finally remove all policing. You must get rid of all distinctions. Do you understand?
Are you implying that I believe in police abolition?
No.
Okay, because kind of that's kind of what it sounds like you're saying. No, I do acknowledge that the police do exist for a reason. We do in fact need people to enforce law and order, stuff like that. I purposefully believe. I personally not
define law and order. Define law and
just
order.
keeping society running without everybody fucking
Well, what
murdering
is society? What is
society?
murder? Like,
how is it
when I
opposed to murder?
Like when I murder someone, what is the object being murdered? What is the essence of murder?
You know, purposefully removing one from existence.
Well, what is existence? Since like
what is existence?
it's questionable whether or not existence.
When I said that police brutality is kind of sucky.
Well, like.
I think you're kind of just like I think you're kind of like adding more to the conversation that doesn't need to.
Well, like no, I'm not. No, we're not. No, we're only okay. No. It is important to ask these questions, since you're just assuming that Enlightenment Christian ideals are the universal, that they're just self-evident when that is not correct. Everyone has a
Exactly. The
system
whole concept.
everyone has a system of metaphysics and epistemology underlying all their views. There is no such thing as just a common sense recognition of things. Like socialism isn't just looking at poor people and saying, "Oh, we need to help these people out." There's a whole system underlying that. Marx
I
wasn't
agree with
just
that.
yeah, there's a whole system of assumptions underlying that, whole system of metaphysics. Thus, everything, to put it more aptly, is a religion in a way. You can think of it that way.
Really, by asserting the idea of common sense, you are engaging in the police brutality of the mind. You are acting as the great uh, actor of the great ideal state of the Christian Enlightenment Kantian spiritual dictatorship by asserting that there is such a thing as common sense, really.
Bro, all I said is I don't like cops beating the shit out of people.
Well, why?
What,
Why don't you like it?
Because I wouldn't want cops to beat the shit out of me.
Why
and why
not?
is that? Why does what you want to happen to yourself? What does that affect
Like,
reality?
what even is a
Because
self?
my
What?
sense of moral, I like to build my sense of morality based off of, the golden rule, do unto others as you want others to do unto you.
Why follow that
I don't
though?
want like people to beat the shit out of me, so I don't beat the shit out of people, and I don't want the cops, the people who are supposed to be our play or like people of order, to start harming the citizens for no good reason.
What's your justification for the golden rule?
You don't understand power dynamics then, because like authority, true anarchy is that of power. There has to be someone in submission to those in power, if that makes any sense.
Hold on, I
There
gotta
will
get
always
somebody in
be
here.
someone in submission.
Ugh, you're just throwing a lot of words at me right now. Uh, let me think about this for a second. The way I'm viewing this is, you guys are viewing this from a completely like theoretical standpoint,
Well,
right?
like that's you can't view that from any other point. Every
You can.
standpoint views it something always assumes some sort of theoretical basis. Like I said, every viewpoint, no matter how self-evident or commonsensical you think it is, has an underlying metaphysical epistemological system and so on.
You're
So
engaging in an you're engaging
you
in an
need to figure this
empiricist.
out first. Like for instance, why what reason do I have to care about George Floyd? Why should I care about police brutality? It doesn't
Because
affect
I am a
me.
citizen
And
of
you
the
know what?
United States, and I don't
Maybe I
like the
want.
people who uphold
Well,
our
like
authority structure to be abusive of the power that is given to them by the people.
well, does it affect me? You know what?
Do the people really give the police power?
I want
Power.
to engage in police brutality. Maybe I want to get to that stance where I can exploit people. Because why
Here's the
not?
real question. Here's the real question, though. What differentiates a police with a gun, with a man dressed up as a police officer holding a gun? What's the real differentiation here?
Let me think. One actually does have power and is defended by our fucking government or whatever, and one is just some hick with a gun.
If 100,000 people were to all dress up as police officers and were to arm themselves, would the state really have power over them? If they all declared war against a state that was to prevent them from engaging in their policing activities
Well,
that are
actually, they'd be
opposed?
the true state since they'd be
I would
representative of the
I would
Volkgeist.
appreciate that, because I would appreciate if they did that, because I would see them as more representative of the people like me who are, I'm assuming these people are just like working class people with weapons, right? In this hypothetical.
That's hypothetical. Sure, we can say that.
Then I would appreciate that personally, because they are probably more representative of what I would like to see than the government itself, than
So
the
you
state.
would support. So you would support Ku Klux
I'd
Klan
support a
groups.
revolution, yeah.
That's what they did in response to the
Or
Union.
Support
They were a
what?
proletarian police force.
I guess. I don't know, man.
If you think about it, slavery is actually the ultimate form of socialism, the end goal, the Marxian end goal.
Excuse me, what
And
the fuck?
I'm not saying that as an insult either. I'm not saying that as an insult. I'm saying if you look at the conditions, if you look at slavery in America, slaves worked less hours than paid farmers.
And you know what they got? They got free education, free food, free housing. What's the difference between that and socialism? The only difference is
You're
that
talking about
it
slavery
needs
in
to be
America, correct?
institutionalized.
Yeah,
Yeah, and you know what?
institutionalized. Yeah,
The
ideally.
serfs, European serfs, worked less hours than the modern man.
I'm fact checking that shit.
That's true. Yes, slaves in America worked less hours
In
than
the United States?
yeah, in
No,
the
the
United States of
education
America.
part is what especially got me because I'm like, the
They
fuck?
had a
What?
higher
Yeah,
literacy rate than
education
Russia and a higher literacy
at the
rate
time.
than the average white farmer at that time, if I remember correctly. I might be wrong
The United
on the
States
white
is the only
farmer part.
country known to have prohibited the education of the enslaved. During the era of slavery in the United States, the education of enslaved African Americans, except for religious instruction, was discouraged. And it was eventually made illegal in most southern United States. And that's why a lot of Jim Crow laws that were put in place were literacy tests to prevent black people from gaining power and voting. It was solely because they didn't want them to be educated, dude. They did not receive free education. And the
Okay,
housing they received was extremely poor conditions. Those were
explain
extremely
how
poor
they had
conditions.
higher literacy rates than Russia at the time.
As far as I know, they fucking didn't.
I can
What is literacy really? Literacy is really the true enslavement because it's putting your mind into these oppressive
Yo,
fascistic
I'm gonna
grammar
need you to stop with
structures.
that fake philosophical bullshit, okay?
why
It's not
why
philosophical.
can't
It's
you
not fake
answer it?
philosophical.
Because you're just throwing a bunch of vague words that have no meaning to me at me, dude.
Well,
They have
like
100
answer
meanings.
them.
They have a lot of meaning to somebody like you who probably sits on like r/atheism all day and starts reading theological shit. To me, that means nothing. Know your audience
Why?
and use like language and argue in a way that your opponent can understand what point you're trying to make.
Well,
I
like I
resent.
pointed out, you have an underlying theoretical system, and we're trying to point out whether or not those assumptions are correct.
I appreciate you trying to do that, but that doesn't really seem effective when you're using words that I have no idea what the meaning of them are. It's like
Okay, let's
going up
say
to a second grader and speaking to them with high school, like freaking like trying to give them a high school spelling quiz.
okay, that's true. I think we should take it from the top here. I think we've wandered off course. We've gone on a wild goose chase here, as I would like to say.
So
Now,
far, you have done nothing to convince me that police brutality is not bad.
Well, can you?
is not bad.
Okay,
Okay,
why do
let's
you
start. Let's
think?
start. Okay,
Okay,
no.
why do you think police
Nicely done,
brutality is
please.
bad? And can you
No,
define
that's
bad?
no. We're making too many assumptions here. Okay, define police brutality.
Cops using unjust force,
Okay, now define unjust.
for this something that has no reason to take place.
Now, what would be an example of something that has a reason to take place?
A cop shooting a suspect in the middle of a shootout.
And what has granted him that reason, that justification?
Because the citizen was using a firearm to attack him.
Well,
And
Like,
why
without
does
a
that grant
chance
him
of
the?
talking down.
You're
what if he had
misunderstanding my question. You're
some sort of deep psychological need to kill George Floyd? Like, what if something Freudian is going on?
Well,
Yeah,
then
what if there's a
that's
little
an
bit of?
issue, and I think that we should address that.
We should
Because
address that.
Floyd didn't do anything worth getting fucking murdered over.
I
Well,
think
like,
it's oppressive
what would
for you to
be what
suggest
would
that.
be like who's
I
worth
think it's
getting who would who would be worth being killed, if I word that correctly? Who would it be worth to kill?
As far as
Even
I know,
would it be
there are only rare situations in which it's like justified for the cops to murder somebody.
Well, like, why can't? What's wrong with killing people? And what is killing anyway? What is a person?
Dude, you are driving this so far away from reality, you lose all sense of like the weight it holds.
No, I'm
These
not.
are
Like, I'm
the foundations of reality.
asking what people is a legitimate question, since there's different views on this very question. Like, for instance, is there a self or is there no self? Like,
If a
what is
police
the
officer kills somebody else, is he not a way killing his own self? If it's all a monistic substance, if everything is one,
What the hell are you saying?
if there's no distinction between subject and object, and a police officer shoots somebody that he's looking at, is he not in a way shooting his own self?
No, because that's another person.
Why is it another
defined
person? How do you
person?
know?
Because that person
Defines
has lived his own life, a whole life probably completely fucking different from the officer, has down his own fucking path and done his own thing.
How do you know the officer hasn't just constructed this in his own mind, this other person's life, and all the hypothetical, theoretical things that could have happened in his life before encountering the police officer?
How do you know he did?
How do I know he did? Well, if you look at well, what you're using is you're using this fascistic notion of Aristotelian logic, where you think point A has to go from point B, and I totally disagree with that notion.
Okay, let me just run this by. You're saying that my line of logic is fascistic because I don't like cops killing people.
That's not what I said at all. I said your use of syllogisms, such as
The fuck is
the
a
police
syllogism?
officer, like a logical process of like going from one conclusion to the other, like just based on facts that you have. Like what you're doing right here, your syllogistical process is it's working on the assumption that there's a difference between this police officer and the person he's shooting, which really is the foundations of fascism, the origins of all nationalistic identity. Is there has to be an other, and you're putting an other in an individual sense, which of course will evolve into a group sense based on recognition. Hegel points this out, by the way.
Okay, I haven't read Engels.
I didn't say
said
Engels.
Hegel.
Hegel, fuck. Words sound like you said something, dude. I haven't read Hegel's. I don't read a lot of theory.
Well, we're just asking you. We're just asking you questions. We're asking you questions regarding the epistemology, and I think that's the most important thing to figure out before going in any debate at all.
Hello.
Hello, who's
Yo,
this?
Benoit, I'm in the middle of a stream and
Oh, I
doing
didn't know. I'm so
a debate. This is
You
Where's
are
the
I
doing
am
it?
very frustrated at the moment
What are you frustrated at?
because you're taking the notion of what, like, you're not the notion. You're taking the basis of this debate, which is me believing that police brutality is wrong, and you're delving into a bunch of
Well, like, if you
philosophical
don't, well, if you can't
questions.
justify it, then why should anyone care about police brutality? Like, why shouldn't I just commit police brutality myself? Like, what would stop me in terms of ethical justification? Like, why shouldn't I just be the worst person in terms of the Enlightenment Christian context possible?
Why are you assuming I'm looking at this from like some Christian standpoint? I'm just
Well,
Well, you're
looking at this
you're
using
from
the
the
assuming,
standpoint of
well,
me
you're
no like
assuming,
being hurt, so me no like other people being hurt.
you're assuming murder is wrong.
really, if we mummify all victims of police brutality, it culturally changes the context of death. What you're engaging in here really is Aten worship. Because if you go back to ancient Egypt and Akhenaten, you would have his soldiers go around knocking out the names of funerary deities from the temples because he wanted to dismantle the realm of death in the political consciousness to make it so you wanted to be alive so you could serve him yourself. So really, the ultimate act of liberation is for the government to kill you and then mummify your corpse and have it displayed.
We ain't in ancient Egypt, dog.
I mean, I'm
Well,
just saying this from a theoretical standpoint.
the basis of Western civilization is Egypt.
is ancient Egypt. Yeah, of course. The basis of all grammar, the words you're using right here, it's from the hieroglyphics, the phonetics of ancient Egypt. It's from Thoth. You're using Thothian logic.
Hold on, what is this debate about?
What is
I
this
don't
debate
even
about?
know
It's
at
pretty
this point,
self-apparent.
dude.
Hold on. Y'all guys are like trying to make this into some kind of philosophical debate.
Yeah, I know.
Thing.
They've been doing this
Well,
this
it's
entire
inherent, yes.
time, and I've just been sitting here. Like,
How can you-
I already
how can you
pointed
say-
out. I already pointed out that all viewpoints have an underlying
Hold on.
epistemology, metaphysical system, and so on.
You're
So you have
using
to-
words that I don't know the meaning
Okay,
of, dude.
every-
Hold on, guys.
My
guys.
chat is asking
Okay,
you
well,
what
okay,
the
well,
hell
calm
is
down, calm
going
down.
on.
Calm down. Let's
All
be
right.
civil here.
Here's the solution. Here's the solution to all your problems. Don't debate this in a philosophical form, because guess what? In a philosophical form, pain equals bad. Okay, we all know this. Human
Why
life.
is
Why
it
do we know
bad?
this?
Why is it bad?
Why
You
does
can
your
argue
I'm not
like
that
talking
it
to you
gives
about
you
why
strength.
it's bad.
pain
I'm
is
not
bad,
talking to you
pain is
about why
bad.
it's bad. You're pivoting right now. Okay.
Well,
so
like you can
basically-
argue that
No,
pain
no,
is
No, you're
good.
making an assertion and you're not justifying it.
Oh dear God! Oh Christ! Yeah, this is. Why I
I'm
do
starting
not-
to regret accepting this debate invitation, dog.
What do you mean?
Look.
I think it's been a very profitable discussion. If you look at it,
Dude,
analytical
this
model.
isn't some theological, like, this isn't some philosophy-based theology thing. This is like me saying the people whose job is to protect and serve, killing the people they're supposed to protect and serve is directly bad.
Well, what is
If
a
the
people?
police are really the structure themselves.
Big Jim, I don't know who these guys are. This guy's
How would you feel?
commented on one of my last video, asking if I wanted to debate. Thought it was cool. He
Okay,
doesn't have any
okay,
videos on his
do we
channel.
go
Said he
from the
wanted to
start?
start
Do
this
I
whole
make
thing, and then
myself
he's been going
clear?
off on this, man.
Wait, okay, do we go back to the start and make myself clear? Okay, let me
Yeah,
make
let's go
my
back.
position clear. Okay, do you agree that all viewpoints have an underlying theoretical system behind them? Underlying assumptions?
I would assume so.
Alright, so asking these questions is important. Since, for instance, if you tell me to go do this, I'm going to ask you why. Why should I? Why should I care? And so we have to ask these in a philosophical manner. Just saying pain is bad or whatever isn't really going to help. Since you can look at it in another point of view. You know, you can say that pain is ultimately good because it increases strength, like Nietzsche did. Do you understand where I'm coming from?
Yeah, but
Yeah,
I'm
so
not
if I run
looking
a
at this
knife
from
through
Nietzsche's
your
point
heart,
of
are you
view. I'm
gonna
looking
gain
from the point of
strength
view
or
that
no?
I don't like pain.
You don't like pain?
Well, what is
Well, it's not
pain?
about if you like pain. It's about if pain is objectively good or objectively bad, or if there even is such a thing as objectively bad or objectively good. You're doing a lot of territorializing here.
What the fuck?
What do you mean?
Yeah. I just was not prepared for this, dog.
What were you preparing for?
I don't know, people. You guys use sentences that I could comprehend.
Well, the proposition for the debate, I'm pretty sure, was about the ethical aspects of police
I don't think there's
brutality.
anything ethical about violence
Well, why?
in this context.
Have you even read
Exactly.
the
That's what we're
Have you
asking.
even read Desaad?
No.
Hey Norman Cunny,
Excuse
are you
me.
like a masochist or something? Like I'm not gonna judge, but
Like a masochist?
What does that
Well,
have
if
to
a
do with the
masochist
debate?
feels pleasure from pain, then is it really pain? Is it really pain?
I think he might be a masochist.
Does the concept of masochism even dispute your statement of pain being bad? Your axiom, your empiricist axiom, right there, of pain being the ultimate bad. For what is pain? What causes pain? We're talking about spiritual pain, like emotional pain? Like
Well,
mental
actually,
in the context
well,
of this
like
debate, we're
actually
talking
look
about
at it
physical
this
pain.
way. Actually, look at it this way. If pain is bad, killing George Floyd would be the ultimate good, since you would no longer feel pain after death. At least if we're a materialist about it.
I'm... What
physical pain's bad. Then if you
Yeah,
die,
it
that gets rid
is.
of all physical pain.
Physical pain, in a biological standpoint, is our body telling us that what is happening is a bad thing.
Okay,
and
so
that our
killing George Floyd would be the ultimate good, since he no
No,
longer
because
feels
causing
pain.
that pain would be a bad thing. He
Well,
wouldn't have been
but
in that
he no
pain
longer
if the
feels
situation
pain
didn't happen to
afterwards.
begin with.
Okay, if we had like painkillers on every street corner and everyone was like required to take them by the police so they could never feel pain at any point, then if the police were to shoot that person, would it be a bad?
But that's not what happened.
And I'm saying theoretically.
You're arguing about reality within the state of hypotheticals.
Well, what is reality? Like,
You
what
cannot
separates
be
my
reality when you're
well,
in a
what separates
Dude,
my
these guys are
thoughts
like the
from
type of
Look,
people
I'm
that
so
is like,
What
yo, hand me a glass
separates-
of water. They're like, what is a glass?
well, what is separates my
the
thoughts
glass
from
is pretty clear.
from like
Are you
the
seriously
outside
using
world?
like the Vosh like transgender like, kind of analogy, kind of like mindset right now, man?
What do you mean? What sort of mindset?
Like, I don't know how to like explain this right now, but like the Vosh like trans chair analogy.
Yeah, like the what is
Like,
a chair?
like-
What is a woman?
What is a chair? What is a chair? I think that would be an object, any object that is created for the purpose of sitting that has a back on it.
Yeah, but how do you know that that's a chair,
Okay,
though?
this is completely off the rails. I'm so
How do I
sorry.
know that it's a chair? Well, a chair only exists as a construct of civilization, of the aspect of architecture within the human mind. Really, there's no form of a chair. It's really just the intersection of various principles.
Dog, I'm just tempted to end this
And this
shit
is
right
why
now.
I'm probably not going to
Well,
college.
okay. Do you want me to start over again? And because like these are simple questions to answer.
These are
What-
not simple questions.
Okay. Can you tell me why is killing people bad? Why is beating people bad? Why is pain bad? And what is bad, anyways? What defines bad? What is the essence of bad?
Oh my fucking god! Jesus Christ. I never thought I would ever have to explain why beating people is bad. Of course, within
Well, you
certain
should have
contexts,
thought
it can be
about
seen
that.
as good. Of course, within certain contexts, it can be seen as good. You know, like beating a fascist dictator, right? You know, like Mussolini fucking being beaten by people.
Well,
That's
why is that a
thing.
good? Why is
If
that
him being
good?
a fascist dictator brings him more pleasure than it brings you pleasure for beating him. What's
Yeah,
the,
no,
what's,
this is
how much-
done. This is done, dude.
No,
fuck.
you
It's
answer
done,
the
okay.
question. Answer the question. You're not arguing in good faith.
Bro, you're asking like such useless questions.
You're-
How are they
Why do you
useless? How are they
question?
useless?
You're
No,
not con-
these are useless, man.
How-
Like
how
I
are they
don't
useless?
understand
Like,
this kind
how
of
are they
What's the use?
useless?
What define use?
because you're
what
asking,
angle are you
what's
trying to-
that?
asking a
What's that?
7-year-old
when you
philosophical questions on a subject
You
he has
sound like-
no idea about. This entire discussion is bad faith, dog.
Well, why is
You know,
killing people
Socrates-
bad?
I swear to
Why?
God, y'all sound like Ben
Homosexual
Shapiro
teenagers.
right now. Like I'm not joking.
Well, why is
Oh, yeah,
killing
for real,
people
dog.
bad? You're not answering
Why
that
is it
question.
not bad?
Why exactly?
Well, like
Why
I
is it
know.
not?
Are you
We're not
claiming
making
that
any
it's
assertions
good?
here.
Well, like if we can't decide whether or not it's bad or good, then I can just choose either way to do
What
it.
do you think? I want to know what you think. Come on,
Yeah.
tell me.
Well, maybe killing people could give me some pleasure. Maybe it'd be fun.
Hypothetically.
So if you're deriving your
Dude,
pleasure
you are
off of the
such a
suffering
troll.
of
Like, I'm
others
not
without
even
their
joking.
consent, then that's a bad thing.
Well, you haven't defined bad yet.
This is such a troll.
Yeah, dog. Just, you know,
Can you just answer the questions? I'm just arguing from the standpoint of Marquis.
We got so on.